Hello, dear viewers. In today's captivating tale, Truong bravely confronts a web of danger to protect Tieu Nu and her son Duwei, who are targeted by a sinister plot involving her ex-husband and a ruthless thug. Guided by a crucial video clue recorded by his younger brother, Truong uncovers their scheme to harm him and his loved ones. Meanwhile, the ex-husband's accomplice stages a fraudulent collision, extorting money from Truong's mother, while the ex himself, fueled by jealousy, devises a cunning plan to eliminate Truong and reclaim Tieu Nu. His scheme unravels at the last moment, igniting his fury as he vows to harm Duwei to secure her affection. The story culminates in triumph as justice prevails. Truong arrests the culprits, ensuring their safety, and Tieu Nu, Duwei, and Truong's family reunite in a heartfelt embrace. If you enjoy thrilling dramas filled with emotion, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to catch the next episodes. Thank you for joining us. The sun dipped lower, casting a warm amber glow over the village as Tieu Nu stood at the threshold of her modest home, her eyes glistening with relief. The air carried the sweet scent of blooming lotus from the nearby pond, a stark contrast to the tension that had gripped her heart for days. Today was a victory. Her son Duwei, pale but smiling, stepped out of the car, his small frame bolstered by the promise of recovery. "Hello everyone. I'm overjoyed to see you all again." Tieu Nu beamed, her voice a melody of gratitude. "Today my heart sings. Dewey's finally home from the hospital. Thank you, dear friends, for your prayers and encouragement." She turned to her son, her hands gently adjusting his collar. "Duwei, my brave boy, are you happy to be back?" Duwei nodded, his eyes bright with mischief. "Very happy, Mom. Being away for a week, I missed this place so much." Inside, the clatter of a kettle signaled Truong's kind mother bustling about, her face alight with maternal warmth. "Truong will be over the moon knowing Dewey's back," she said, pouring tea into delicate cups. Tieu Nu smiled softly. "Yes, ma'am. I haven't called him yet. Perhaps I'll reach him when we visit later." The phone rang, shattering the cozy silence, and Tieu Nu answered with a quick breath. "Brother Truong, are you home yet?" A familiar voice crackled through. "Yes, I'm here. What's on your mind?" Her voice steadied. "I'm coming over. I have something urgent to share." Truong's tone softened. "All right, I'll wait." Meanwhile, at Truong's house, the afternoon breeze rustled the bamboo curtains as he welcomed his younger brother onto the shaded porch. "Come in, have some water," Truong offered, gesturing to a chair. The boy shook his head, wiping sweat from his brow. "No, sir, I'll sit out here, it's cooler." Truong's brow furrowed. "What's troubling you? Sit and speak." The boy hesitated, then leaned closer. "While you were away, I spotted Tieu Nu's ex-husband lurking around. He's back." Truong's eyes narrowed. "Back? Tell me more." The boy's voice dropped to a whisper. "I followed him and saw him with a thug. They were plotting something dark, I think." Truong leaned in, urgency lacing his words. "Did you catch anything else?" The boy nodded, pulling out his phone. "I recorded their conversation. They're planning to harm someone, maybe you. Here, watch this." The screen flickered to life, revealing a shadowy alley where Tieu Nu's ex-husband sneered at the thug. How should we deal with that guy? The ex spat. The thug grinned, cracking his knuckles. Let's hit him hard. Teach him not to cross you. Back on the porch, Truong's jaw tightened. Transfer this to my phone. How did you get so close? The boy smirked. I ditched my uniform. They didn't suspect a thing. Pride flickered in Truong's eyes. Well done, little brother. We'll turn their trap against them, using the enemy's stick to beat him. I'll bait them out and we'll net them all. The boy's face clouded. That thug looked reckless. Be careful, brother. Truong nodded gravely. Keep this quiet for now. No stirring the hornet's nest. This video is our evidence to lock them away. Later, inform the team at the station. If it escalates, we move fast. The boy agreed. Yes, sir. I'll be ready. Truong clapped his shoulder. Let's start here. If they strike soon, we'll be prepared. As the plan took shape, Truong's thoughts drifted to Tieu Nu and Due. Is Due recovering? He asked. The boy nodded. Much better. Nearly ready to leave the hospital. Truong's voice grew solemn. I hope they target me, not those two. If they're discharged, watch over them, please. The boy saluted playfully. Consider it done. What about work? Truong waved a hand. All normal. I'll head to the station later, finish any new tasks. You go home safely. The boy grinned. Yes, brother, you too. Unbeknownst to them, danger brewed elsewhere. In a roadside cafe, Tieu Nu's ex-husband sat with the thug, their laughter sharp against the clink of glasses. What'll you have? The thug asked. The ex shrugged. Anything's fine. The thug leaned closer. Why's that cop gone quiet? The ex smirked. He can't hide forever. My men are everywhere. A sudden shout broke their reverie. That's your ex-wife, the thug exclaimed, pointing to Tieu Nu stepping into a car with Truong's mother. The ex's eyes darkened. And that old woman looks like the cop's mom. If she's involved, we've got a plan. The thug rubbed his hands. They're leaving, let's move. A waiter interrupted. Pay for the drinks. The ex snarled. Shut up. Wait a sec. The village road, a ribbon of earth winding through verdant fields, basked in the late afternoon sun, its tranquility shattered by the sudden jarring screech of tires. Truong's mother's car jolted to an abrupt halt, the air thick with the acrid scent of burnt rubber as a thug on a motorcycle swerved recklessly, deliberately grazing the vehicle in a staged collision. Inside the car, panic flared. Truong's mother gripped the door handle, her voice quivering with urgency. Get out of the car quick! What's happening? She cried, nudging the driver with a trembling hand. The driver, his face pale, fumbled with the lock. Yes, ma'am, let's check. The door creaked open, and they stepped into the dusty haze, hearts pounding. The thug, a burly figure with a menacing glare, swaggered over, his motorcycle propped against a tree. You crossed my path, you're at fault. Get out here and face me, he bellowed, his voice a thunderclap in the stillness. The driver, regaining his composure, protested sharply. You're the one who's wrong. You swerved into us. The thug's face contorted with feigned outrage, his tattooed arms flexing as he pointed accusingly. How do you even drive? You rammed me. Pay up or this gets ugly. Truong's mother emerged, her presence a beacon of calm amid the chaos, her silk-out dye fluttering in the breeze. "Hello, young man," she said, her tone firm yet laced with diplomacy, her eyes assessing the situation. The thug sneered undeterred. "What's wrong with you? Your driver smashed my bike," she countered with unwavering resolve. "No, sir, our car stayed on its path. You swerved into our lane, check the marks." The thug jabbed a finger at the scratched paint. "Nonsense. Pay me now, look at my damage, you fools." She stood taller, her voice steady. "You crossed our lane. Our car hugged the edge. You're clearly the one at fault. This was no accident." Undeterred, the thug's rage escalated, his voice rising like a storm. "I don't care about your excuses. You owe me. Cough up the cash." Truong's mother's eyes flashed with determination. "If you persist, I'll call the police. Photos will prove your guilt." The thug laughed, a harsh, mocking sound. "Go ahead, snap away. Let's see who wins." She raised her phone, capturing the scene. The thug's bike tilted awkwardly, the road's faint tire tracks telling a different story. "If you keep this up, I'll report you. Your bike barely touched us. This is a setup." The thug stomped the ground, his patience snapping. "I fell because of you. Pay or you're not leaving this spot." She sighed, her gaze piercing. "You're just causing trouble. We saw you stage this. Your bike didn't even collide." The standoff thickened, the thug's demands growing more belligerent. 10 million VND for the bike, 15 with medical fees. Refuse and I'll block your car, try me. Truong's mother exchanged a glance with the driver, her resolve wavering under the weight of Dewey's fragile health. "Fine, take 10 million, Dewey's unwell, so I'll let it go this once. But next time you won't get a cent. Be careful, young man," she said, handing over the crisp bills with a heavy heart. The driver muttered under his breath, "Why pay so much? They're clearly wrong." She patted his arm, her touch soothing. "It's fine. Tieu Nu and Dewey are exhausted. Let's avoid more stress." The driver frowned, guilt etching his features. "I should have noticed him. I'm sorry, ma'am." She smiled faintly. "No harm done, let's move on." As the thug pocketed the money with a triumphant smirk and roared off on his bike, a young woman in the car leaned forward, her voice a whisper of concern. "Ma'am, he did that on purpose. I saw him angle the bike." Truong's mother nodded, her expression grave. "I know, but Dewey's health comes first. Don't worry, child." The car rolled forward slowly, the woman glancing back at the receding figure. "They're gone, let's turn around." The thug's accomplice, lurking in the shadows, grinned at his partner. "Nice work, eh? Let's hit the beer joint and celebrate." Back in the car, Truong's mother's resolve hardened like steel. "I'll tell Truong about this. Those crooks won't prey on innocents again." The young woman nodded vehemently. "We must stop these frauds. Too many have suffered their schemes." The car turned onto a quieter lane, the tension easing slightly as the village's familiar sights. Children playing by a stream, elders chatting under a banyan tree, offered a fleeting sense of normalcy. Yet, the driver's hands still trembled on the wheel, his mind replaying the thug's aggressive stance. "Ma'am, what if they try again?" he asked, his voice low. Truong's mother patted his shoulder. "We'll be ready. Truong will handle it. He's sharp." The young woman added, "I heard rumors of a gang operating here. This might be bigger than we think." Truong's mother's eyes narrowed. Then we'll uncover it all. For Due, for Tieu Nu, justice will prevail. The car hummed onward, the weight of their encounter lingering like a storm cloud on the horizon. The evening descended gently over Lý Tiểu Nu's home, the air infused with the ripe, intoxicating scent of mangoes hanging heavy on the trees, their golden flesh a symbol of resilience. Lý Tiểu Nu bustled about the porch, her hands laden with bags of groceries, her face alight with the joy of reunion. "Let me help you carry the bags, ma'am," she offered, reaching for Truong's mother's load with a warm smile. The older woman chuckled, her voice a soothing balm. "Let me carry it, rest dear, you've done enough." Lý Tiểu Nu relented with a grin. "Go ahead, I'll call when I'm back." The boy nodded eagerly. "Yes, ma'am." Truong's mother turned to Due, who sat on the steps, his cheeks regaining color. "Let's get you some fruit, okay? I'll eat too, strength for us all." Inside, the room buzzed with the sweet hum of family as Truong arrived, his police uniform crisp despite the day's trials, his presence a pillar of strength. Lý Tiểu Nu glanced at Truong's mother, a question in her eyes. "I wonder if Brother Truong went to work today, ma'am?" she mused aloud. Truong's mother smiled, dialing her son. "Son!" Truong's voice crackled through, warm and steady. "Yes, Mom, I'm here. You and Tieu Nu's family are back." He brightened, his tone lifting. "Due's out of the hospital? Great. Come visit too, Mom." She laughed, a sound like tinkling bells. "I did. No need to buy food, I brought plenty. Come in. Due misses you terribly." Truong grinned, stepping inside. "I'll be right there." Due's face lit up like a lantern at dusk. "Due, look, it's Uncle Truong," he squealed, scampering to hug Truong, his small arms wrapping tightly. "Hello, Mom, hello everyone," Truong said, returning the embrace with a gentle pat. "Mom, Tieu Nu and Due been back long?" Lý Tiểu Nu replied softly, "Just arrived, brother." Truong nodded, his gaze warm. "Trip tiring?" She shook her head, her smile serene. "Not at all, thanks to Ma'am's care." Lý Tiểu Nu added, her voice thick with gratitude. "Thanks for watching the house, brother. And ma'am, your care for us is beyond words." Truong's mother waved it off, her eyes misty. "Due's health is our joy. Your family, don't be shy ever." The mood shifted as Truong's mother leaned forward, her voice lowering to a conspiratorial whisper. "Today on the road, a thug rammed our car, demanding money with a fury. He was fierce. Due cried in fear, so I paid to end it. His bike didn't even touch us. He crossed our lane, claiming righteousness." Truong's eyes narrowed, a predator's focus settling in. "Mom, can you recall his look?" She nodded, her memory sharp. "Yes, tattoos snaking up both arms, a mark of his ilk." Tieu Nu gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. My ex was with a thug like that. Aggressive, ruthless. Truong's mind raced, piecing the puzzle. That fits. Those photos from the boy's video. He stood tall, his uniform a shield of authority. Mom Tieu Nu, don't let fear take root. I'll investigate deeply. With solid evidence, I'll arrest him for fraud and worse. Your safety is my vow. Trust me to shield you. Tieu Nu sighed in relief, her shoulders relaxing. We do, brother, completely. Truong's mother added. He mentioned a plan. Something about your ex, Tieu Nu. Be vigilant.
Tieu Nu nodded. Her resolve hardening.
I will, for Dewey's sake. Outside, the village grew hushed, the chirping crickets a backdrop to their plotting. Truong paced, his mind whirring. I'll review the video tonight, cross-check with station records. That thug's face might be known. The young woman from the car, now inside, spoke up. Ma'am, I saw others watching from the trees. This gang's coordinated. Truong's jaw tightened. Then we'll cast a wider net. I'll call in backup tomorrow. Dewey tugged at his sleeve. Uncle, will we be safe? Truong knelt, his voice gentle. Always, Dewey. Uncle promises. The room filled with a fragile hope, the battle lines drawn under the village's serene facade.
Her husband several months before, I invited Phyllis to have lunch with me the next day, and we quickly established some common ground. We were about 10 years apart in age, but she had also been with her husband for about 50 years. She talked of how they met and what their life had been like. And I could tell by her stories and the warmth of her tone of voice that she, too, had a happy marriage. Then it was my turn, and all I could do was cry as I told the story of my own husband's battle with cancer and chronic pain. As